Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. I have got the absolutely gorgeous Lisa Love with me today. Hi, Lisa, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing so well, thank you.
Oh, listen, thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend to talk to me, because I know how precious everybody's time is now. But since I discovered your profile and saw the incredible array of things that you offer, I was really intrigued. I wanted to talk to you about it all. And obviously you are going to be one of the guests presenters at the Goddess Gathering in Dundee.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you about, let's start with, how you got into the work that you do, all the things that you have on offer. Because I'm sure if I don't really, there's somebody coming in. Hi. If anybody's got any questions, anybody that's watching, please just pop them in the box and we'll answer them at the end. So first of all, just tell me how you got into this work.
Wow. So are we going deep?
Deep and long.
let's go deep. So so how I got into all this was my mum's passing. I was very close to my mum, and she ended up being riddled with cancer. The doctors said it was depression, and just kept on putting her away again, and she kept on going back saying there's something not right with me. And she finally, over a Christmas and New Year period, went into the hospital, and she was riddled. She had weeks to live. So it was a huge upheaval for me. I was an interior designer, traveling the whole of the UK, a couple of kids. And when my mum passed, my whole world broke. My whole foundations. I realised that the partner that I'd been with for 12 years wasn't quite right for me anymore. There was a lot of betrayal through friends that had happened after that, and it was this whole whirlwind. There was also my daughter, who was 3-year-old at the time. She went into the hospital and nearly died and had to get a major operation. My brother was in getting a kidney transplant. There was just all this stuff going on that really just shook up. It was like the Kali moment, the Kali coming in and saying, this is not what your life's about, let's shake it up. And everything, I left my job, I left my home, I left everything apart from my children. And I was left with just the bare minimum. And then someone offered me, sorry.
How old was your mum?
My mum was 62.
62. Younger than me.
Yeah.
And so how long ago was that?
10 years ago, roughly. About 10 years ago.
Losing your mum's a big event. I mean, my mum's a lot older, but still, pulls your heart right out.
Yeah, and my gran died at 52, and it was, it's been a sort of generational thing of us passing, or not me, but of them passing quite young and having bad health, and a lot of addictions, and smoking and things. So when all that happened, someone had, one of the friends that I did manage to sort of keep at the time, had offered me Reiki, and I had my first Reiki treatment, and it was just really magical. I could have sworn that my mum was holding my hand on one side and my gran was holding my hand on the other. And it was automatic that I have to do this. I have to, literally came out of the girl's house and looked for a Reiki teacher. And really, ever since then, it's just been, going deeper and deeper into my journey. And then shamanism came, found me. I wasn't looking for anything, or that I thought I wasn't looking for anything further. And I found my first teacher found me, and you think you've done healing when you're doing Reiki, and then you do shamanism. And shamanism was a whole, let's go back into all your trauma and dredge it up, and just bring back all the parts of you that you'd lost. And over time, it's just been, I do wonder, I do have an extensive portfolio of skills. But I do wonder at one point, when am I going to be okay with, right, that's enough now.
Well,
you know,
ever.
yeah.
I do the same. It's like
Yeah.
stop doing I've actually have stopped doing a lot of courses, although I'm now training my doctor in Canada. But yeah,
Wow.
I think that's why these conversations are so important.
Yeah.
From the Heal Scotland perspective, somebody could look at your profile, but they wouldn't have a clue what a lot of these things were, and they wouldn't have a clue if it would benefit them. So what we want to do is kind of demystify what it is you're doing so that people can really understand and decide that sounds like the thing for me. And I think you, like pretty much everybody I know, you can't just say, well, I'm a Reiki master or I do angel healing anymore, because there's so many things that we do, and then we make it our own, because we take a wee bit of this, a wee bit of that, a wee bit of our own intuition. What do you, people say, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you talk about Reiki, it's starting off with the Usui, the Japanese Reiki, and then going into Karuna Reiki, and then Sikkim Reiki, which is like Egyptian Reiki, and it's all these different beautiful light and angelic Reiki, and all these different beautiful light energies. But they just merge into one type of energy. I love it. I just love it. I was absolutely hooked, and I actually went to the extent where I became really obsessed. So I managed to release all my own addictions. I had a lot. I used to smoke. I would smoke from the minute I woke up. I used to smoke a lot of cannabis, right the way through from the age of 11. I would take various different, bits and pieces. I don't know how open to be on this show, but
I think we need honesty and transparency. Let's things that we all did. There's no point in kidding on anymore, because I think it's even more impressive when you realise you tried all these things, which I actually believe is a good thing. And then you realise, right, that's not making me happy. And then you move on and you grow and expand, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I think my consciousness expanded through the various weekends for years as a teenager, taking acid or LSD, mushrooms, and going on trips and running with wolves in the forest and things like that. But then, once that stopped, it was amphetamines, it was not very often, but it was cocaine, it was various other bits and pieces, anything at all to take me away from feeling anything. That was the thing, or from the limelight or being with people. I found it really difficult because I was so sensitive to everything, that anything that stopped me from feeling would be helpful. But bit by bit, it was shamanism just retrieved the parts of me that was trying to hide, and helped me accept the sort of sensitivity and work with that, and then find the boundaries. The boundaries were very, very important in my life because I had none. I was the people pleaser, and they do everything everyone wanted. So once I found all that and retrieved a lot of my essence that I lost during these periods of time, things just got magical and exciting and fun, and the whole tearing down that Callie, that I would have said that Callie assisted with. There was then the building back up and building up the the beauty and the connecting with nature and the freedom that's came with that, and the working for yourself, and the home educating my daughter, and all these wonderful magical experiences came into my life, and of course helping that with others as well.
And don't you think it's interesting, because now, well, certainly in our world, plant medicines are very common. Most people have, ayahuasca, psilocybin, San Pedro, whatever it is that you're, the medicines. But in a way, certainly when I was younger as well, we went out and we took drugs and we danced. And I tend to find that people that are most open-minded now are the people that I used to do that with, because although we didn't have all the sort of names for it, like a ceremony and a gathering, and that's what we did. We all got together, we had a laugh, and then, so there was an element of ceremony in it, but we didn't call it that.
Yeah.
It was this that you're shunned, it was illegal. We'd no idea as well, that you would be trying to get away from, didn't understand, we'd try to change how we feel, trying to get away from suffering, wanted to have fun. And still an avenue to do that. And then eventually you do that enough and you realise, right, okay, I need to explore more here. But still what it did was it changed your consciousness, certainly the emotional state. And you tend not to have as much fear because you've had a glimpse into a different reality from the one we think we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does open you up to the other dimensions. I mean, we would, with LSD or with anything that I took, it was tearing down the veils, to be fair, straight away. And I would see all these other dimensions. And at the time, you're just like, oh, it's just hallucinations. It's not, you're not seeing it as dimensions, but I was seeing other realms within this sphere, and it was quite incredible. But then when doing this work, it helps you see the other realms but not have that fear. So yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I remember when I was traveling in India, and I was never really a big fan of acid, to be honest. Still aren't. But I met this guy who was writing a book on people who had these spiritual breakthroughs and feelings of enlightenment and connection. And I know quite a few people in my own circle that have had that with that drug. Because I think that's the other thing, even with all the plant medicines, there's different ones that just suit you, that you can still go into. The last psilocybin trip I had, I was like, I went through the food processor with it.
Yeah.
I'm really not that keen to repeat that experience. And same with Bufo. I tried that as well because I'd listened to a really great podcast on it, and I thought I'd like to try that because I do like to try these things, but very often once is enough, and it's just like, right, okay.
Yeah, I actually had to stop. This is probably oversharing, but I actually had to stop taking LSD, and this is the reason I stopped, is because every time it got to the stage where every time I would take it, it was the bad trip. It was the thinking this was genuinely how it went was. Once it kicked in, I would start thinking that I peed my pants, and I wouldn't stop thinking that throughout the whole evening. And even though your friends are going, no, you've not, you're okay, and I'm going, no, I'm not okay, I'm definitely not okay. So it just started playing. It was never fun after that. So I thought, right, that has to go. Yeah.
And I think it's then you can just drop that off. And they say that about mushrooms and LSD. You can't really get addicted because that will happen. Nobody wants more of that. Give it rest for some time, and you may want to go back and expand and explore more. But so I think there's I'm very interested because I think a lot of people go to plant medicines now and they just don't stop with that either. And we're kind of like, right, we're still living in this reality here. Let's learn how to do it.
Yeah, for myself, I think it's more. I did try. The only thing that I've tried within the last probably 8 years or something, I did try DMT, and that was a whole completely different experience. But what I kind of feel is that I've spent most of my life trying to not be here, and what I feel like what healing's helped me with is not only accept that I'm part of the earth and that I'm part of nature, but actually really enjoy it and embrace it and embrace my body and be present as I possibly can be. Whereas all these things were, assisting me in not being here, not being in my body. So it's, I think for me personally, I wouldn't really, I've thought about the ayahuasca, I've thought about other things, and I've always came to that. I actually don't feel like the call. I don't feel need to. I think more so, if I can be here, then that would help me more.
Well, that's the thing, because I always say that, you need to, we're living here most of the time. And I think the plant medicine ceremonies, although they definitely have phenomenal benefits, but there's a law of diminishing returns. You don't get more and more enlightened the more you do. Arguably, maybe the opposite's even true. So, being able to help to see, you know, and you can get a lot of phenomenal experiences from that. And it certainly, when I did Bufo, I had an incredible unconditional love experience. But see, for weeks afterwards, ooh, what went up?
That's it. The pendulum swings, and that's what I always, you know, even afterwards, even without any drugs, any kind of experiences, for a long time I was chasing that kind of the heart opening experience, or the Kundalini energy moving, or chasing the highs. But when you chase the highs, and when you have the highs, the pendulum always swings the other way, and then it's awful. So it's actually so much better just to be balanced. And I keep getting this message more recently, is, you know, the hare and the tortoise, the slow and steady wins the race, not the let's jump up as high as we can get, you know.
Absolutely. Because I even did it with breathwork. You know, the first time I got that real, like, and then you're chasing that every time, and I'm like, why? Just
that becomes an addiction, eh?
100%, because you want to feel that amazing all the time, and that's what we're all doing. We're chasing these feelings. In actual fact, we can be very, very productive and effective within the mid-range of feelings. We don't need to always be up there or be scared of being down there. It's just being comfortable, isn't it, with all of it?
Absolutely.
So, like, on a day-to-day basis, then, what do you work from a place or your home, or?
So I do the workshops, and I do workshops and circles, gatherings. They're from a place called the Centre of Positive Change, and that is like a pure haven. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. It was candlelit for a while, but it was, you know, it wasn't great for insurance. So it looks like it's candlelit, and it's just the most beautiful place. And it's owned by a couple of guys that have the best morals that I've ever met in anyone. You know, they're just incredible people, and I'm lucky enough to be part of that small family. I do therapies generally from home, and I home educate my daughter as well, who's 11 years old. So, and I study because I have an overactive mind, and I do understand that, you know, because my mind wants to know a lot of stuff, if it's not got things to chew on, it can be quite, you know, it can. So there's that. There's always, with me, there's always that trying to find that balance between, you know, eating the good food, exercising, doing the meditations, doing the study, and teaching my daughter, all this kind of stuff. So there's always this like juggling and trying to balance life.
And it's certainly when you're a mum, you know, that's I was helping my daughter out the last few weeks, and I was like, how did I forget how much work this is? It's constant, you know. You're just like, eat, you know, dishes, clothes, eat, dishes, clothes, showers, towels.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, with my daughter Amelia, she's extremely I would say she's my teacher. And she I swear she channels information and questions to ask me, and she's very, very open-hearted and kind and really loving. So it's and it's just the two of us. So it is a beautiful life now. It's a completely different life from what I've ever had, and it's almost like I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams. I could never have thought this would happen. I'm sure I'm still going to have difficult times, but it's good.
Well, what a lovely thing to hear, you know, because it can be very challenging this time to be on this planet. But it's so nice, and we all know that curveballs come, but it's being able to totally enjoy that space in between and not be worrying about what's going to happen next, because we don't know, quite simply.
Yeah.
So tell me about this place. Is it in Dundee, this centre?
This is in Kirkcaldy, so I'm in Kirkcaldy. I'm in Fife. Funnily enough, that that we have this gathering and this goddess gathering in Dundee, because that's where my mum's family are from. That's where my mum's from. So it's nice to go back there for for something so special and something so close to my heart, like goddesses. I just goddess. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about what your workshop, what you're bringing to the gathering in Dundee?
Yeah. So okay. So see, here's where I'm going to stumble, because there's so much and so much that I would like to do. But because of the timing, so I have got goddess circles that I love to work with, the different archetypes of goddesses. And with this one in particular, this one's closer to Imbolc. This one's closer to, the halfway between the winter time and the springtime. So this will be the sort of first stirrings of spring. So this is when it's the kind of lamb season, and the first stirrings of us coming out of the darkness, coming out of the winter, and first sort of, I imagine it as this, we're going to be working with goddess Brigid, a Celtic goddess, who helps kind of bring this light back into your life. She's the maiden, and she helps sort of, I almost see it as we're going to be like sort of stretching out from, like a plant or a flower stretching out from underneath where we've been growing during the winter time, to finally seeing the sun after a while, and finally seeing bringing our light back, and our inspiration and our energy. The energy of the maiden is more bringing our youth back. So we're going to sort of go on a shamanic journey, and we're going to be meeting with goddess Brigid, who will assist us in coming out that darkness, to kind of leave anything to almost like come out of our bed from the winter, so that we can start feeling inspired and to open up our creativity. Goddess Brigid, she's a goddess and a patron saint. But when I worked with with Brigid before, I had and I know I talk about the highs and the lows, but I don't feel I got this with her. But I did have a huge heart awakening experience with her. And it lasted for a long time, so much so where I actually felt like I had a fire in my heart for such a long time, so much love overflowing. So we are going to be working with her and having a sort of healing and an activation and a letting go of the sort of old, so that we can create new seeds of inspiration, and see what we're going to be working with. With this next coming year.
And I think, it is that time of year. I think we're all, by the time we get to February, we are like, right, enough. We want to feel that more light. I mean, even already, you can probably see the sun coming in. But, I went up the canal the other morning at 8 o'clock, and it was quite light. So I think it's quite exciting time, isn't it, to do this work? And, when I had the idea for this, or when the idea came through me for the Goddess Gathering, well, first of all, I was very aware that a lot of what I do is West Coast based, just demographically after the COVID and all that kind of stuff. It was just, that's where I lived, so and that's where I knew everybody. So I wanted to get right, around the country to the major cities, but also I didn't want to just be doing, do a bit of yoga, do a bit of this, do a bit of cold water. I was like, no, we need to. It's time. We need more than that. Yeah. We need to really be doing some actual work, proper work, with clear intention, and really get inside and really reconnecting into our intuition. And that's why we called it into the field of inner knowing. And there's so many different ways to do that, and that's fantastic. So we've done Glasgow and Edinburgh last year, and honestly, it blew me away, because I mean, I kind of knew the information that was coming wasn't really mine. I was like, right, okay, this is what you have to do. And I actually saw it in practice, and the feedback that we had was just incredible. So I think now that it's myself, Jennifer Main, and Julie Foobster, and my right-hand woman, Kristen Henderson, the four of us, creating this, and we're the constant throughout each city, and then bringing in people like you that are doing amazing work, because that's what the Heal Scotland mission is about, is to just be a platform for all things health, happiness and well-being going on around the country. So, because I also know that when you're a holistic, to use that word as a kind of generic word, therapist, usually you're working on your own. It's very difficult to promote yourself. Word of mouth is great, obviously, but for people to really truly understand, right, if the drugs haven't worked, or if I don't want to take the drugs, what else can I do? And where can I go if I want to expand my spiritual practice, my spiritual network? Where can I go? So with the lives and with the weekends, we're really giving women a place to come and expand. And, I think Goddess Gathering can either attract you or repel you. The word's a bit, the word's not really, it's just a whole bunch of really open-hearted, open-minded women that have done a lot of work on themselves, coming together and saying, look, this is what worked for me, and this is what I want to share with you. This is how you can, because there's so much conflicting information around everything, around what exercise you should do, what food you should eat, what fats you should eat, what carbs you should eat, emotional release. There's 100 different ways plus to do that. It's overwhelming for people. And also, we now know what we should be doing, but it's like this weekend's a chance to come and just immerse yourself in the practices. And that's what, even we come out the other end going, oh my God, that was amazing. Because obviously the more work you do in yourself, the more intention you have around being released and relaxed and open, and you get that energy, collective energy of all the women in the room who genuinely want the best for each other. It's really special. And I know I'm preaching the totally converted, because I know you do circles, etc. But you can see it all over the place now, all over the world. People are getting together. Things are changing, there's no doubt about that. But humans are amazing. Their spirit's amazing. And you always find a way. We'll always, and you can see this now, it's, right. And that's what we wanted to do. The reason we didn't make it residential was cost. So it's a phenomenal lineup of women over 2 days, and you can just come and really immerse yourself in that. And if you that's why we wanted to be in the area, so that people can come without having to pay for any accommodation or food if they don't want to try and get it into as close as you can to everybody's budgets. But obviously they've got overheads to pay as well. But in general, that was the thinking behind it.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the because I know, coming from myself, a lot of women have sister wounding, and wounding about coming together, and there's all this sort of feeling of competition in the real world, and this coming together as empowered women coming together to heal. And I know that the energy becomes so much stronger when you come together with other people who want to heal, rather than feeling like you've got to do it all by yourself. I love it. And when you sent that message, or when I got the message about it, I don't even think I read it. I just went, yes, please. And then I must have cried. I do have this gratitude cry that I just get overwhelmed. I go, oh my God, thank you so much. So I'm so grateful for it. I really am.
Yeah, well, I think that it's almost like sometimes you need somebody to go, well, here's a place we can all go. Let's do this. And that's kind of what happened with the other. I don't know if you know Jennifer Main and Julie. If you
no. Probably Facebook, no.
Yeah, because you don't know who you know now and who you usually know or not. But Julie went through a cancer journey herself, and she's a life coach, and she kind of used her strategic thinking around coaching to deal with the diagnosis and etc. And it has just done a ton of research, and again has done quite a few more courses, herbalism, etc. since. And she's great now, she's fine. But she really has a walk with the fact that breast cancer has been so prevalent now. I think it's really helpful for people that have not been diagnosed. So that you're armed with a whole huge amount of positive information if it ever would happen to you or somebody that you're close to, a friend or whoever. So that's on the kind of preventative side. Jennifer Main, the work she does, I'm not even going to try and explain it. She's in her words, psychic as fuck.
I love that.
Is just she teaches you exercises. She teaches theta healing, but it's way beyond that, the stuff that she does. So she actually teaches you exercise that you can practice, along with the healing during the session. And obviously me, I'm the big let go the stories, etc. So we've got a phenomenal first day that sets up, and I've got this incredible sound. We do a bespoke, a voice print on the group in the room, and then we do bespoke sound healing on them with that through EMF, pulsed electromagnetic, and we breathe with that as well, and it's just phenomenal. So that's setting the whole thing up and really getting people into state, and then you guys come in on the Sunday, and by which time then we can just get to really enjoy the day and participate.
Brilliant.
And obviously extend our network, because although it's only 2 days, it's amazing how you just get to know everybody a little bit in the room. And again, that's just expanding the words, because I think what I feel is that the Dalai Lama apparently said the change is coming through Western women, and it certainly looks that way to me. And I know last year when I was doing the goddess gatherings, that's where I was meeting women that were saying, "Look, what can I do to help?"
Yeah.
Right, okay, because we're going to have to. Cannot wait in politicians to change what's going on.
Yeah, no.
And the food that they allow to be sold in the shops to their people is outrageous. But I'm not going to start on a rant about that.
Amelia and I, we are completely disgusted on a daily basis of what, we're taken aback by, really? What? Why would someone put insects into a sweet for a kid? It's just that's just a tiny part of, we're yeah.
What kind of human beings think that's all right? But what kind of government allows it? But I mean, you just looked at our own government with Boris and all these absolute goons during COVID, and you're going, there's no way these people are governing me. No way. They're absolutely bonkers, self-serving, corrupt lunatics. So I think, a big part of my passion is particularly mums that are on their own as well, although not necessarily, just people that are raising children. It's so challenging there's so many you should do this, you shouldn't. You're trying to be mother, father, psychologist, psychiatrist, breadwinner.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things to do, and that's why we have to get back to looking after each other, because raising kids should be fun, and they kind of defund every single thing that we enjoy doing.
It's one of the reasons why Amelia wanted to leave school and to be home educated, and although she does a lot of educational work as well, our life is so much fun. We're out on paddle boards in the summer, and we're traveling here, there and everywhere, and just in art galleries and museums, and seeing. That doesn't sound fun to some people, but we make it so much fun. It's our life is fun, but it is a shame. And see, when you see kids' faces, when you tell them, I don't go about telling kids what is in their food, but every now and again, if you say, "Oh yeah, that's that," and then they go, "Why? But why? Why? Yeah, exactly. Why would we do this?" I don't get real world things anymore. It's just.
There's an amazing woman called Zen Honeycutt, and I did a podcast with her a couple of years ago. I'd seen her on YouTube, and I thought, she's exceptional. So I just wrote to her, and she started. I didn't realise how famous she was at the time, or I probably wouldn't have thought she would have responded. But she came on and did a podcast with me. She had 3 sons that are grown up now, but they were all poorly. 2 with fairly serious, one is serious allergy, and one with life-threatening asthma, and the other one I can't remember. But she thought, what's wrong looking around at all the young kids? This is in America, which it's worse there than it is for genetically modified food. It's coming this way here. And she just went completely organic for 6 weeks, and they were all better in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So she's now unstoppable. It's genetically modified foods. Her business is called Moms Across America. She's like, we are unstoppable. And I'm like, that's the word we need to be like, no, we're not having this anymore. It's consumer driven, and once we stop buying it, they go out of business. It's as simple as that. Anyway, listen, I digress. Thank you so much.
You're
and
welcome.
I'm really, really excited to give you a hug in person.
I know, me too. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So for anybody that's living over that place, can you please share the message for the Goddess Gathering? Because we don't have, and well, I don't have a network there yet, so I'm really relying on people sharing it and spreading the word so that we can sell all the tickets and have an amazing weekend. And yeah, the early bird, it's £99, so the early bird finishes next week. So yeah, it's a phenomenal retreat really for that money. So yeah, thanks a million, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
Please to enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Oh, thank you. I'm working, but thank you so much.
Oh, are you? Okay, well,
past life regressions next.
Nice. Okay, well, whoever's listening, you can talk to Lisa about all of that stuff at the Goddess Gathering in Dundee. Thanks, hon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.